I want to ask every conservative Christian Republican, every black conservative, every person who is a Republican because of your religious values, I want you to pull a chair up to the table. We have to have a conversation. Go ahead, pull a seat up. You need to have a seat on this. Have you seen the 2015 budget that the House of Representatives, controlled by the Republican Party, your party, have you seen the budget? Have you seen their priorities? Better yet, have you seen what is not a priority? Have you seen what's at the bottom of the list for Republicans? You know, I've been saying this for years. People have been trying to tell you this for years. The Republican Party is not a party of Christian values. Why do you keep letting them fool you? If you look at the budget that just came out, they take money from everything and only increase spending on the defense budget. Now, we already know the Republican Party wants to go to war. Because why else would they sabotage or attempt to sabotage the negotiations with Iran? 47 senators sent a letter to the Ayatollah saying, basically trying to scuttle the negotiations so that we would not have to go to war. We already knew the Republican Party were hawks, were war hungry. But now they put it in writing for you to see that they don't care about the health care. They don't care about any. Matter of fact, you know who else needs to pull a seat up and take a gander? If you know somebody from Owsley, Kentucky, tell them to grab a seat and sit down because they need to hear this. They have presented a budget that's not only going to cut Obamacare, but it's going to cut SNAP benefits. It's going to cut SNAP benefits, food stamps, which Owsley, Kentucky, 95% white, 99% Republican, consumes the highest percentage of food stamps in the entire nation. Yet their party has presented a program that is going to limit and ultimately cut SNAP benefits so that they can give increases to defense contractors, to the Defense Department, primarily defense contractors, without having to raise taxes. There are the priorities of the Republican Party. Their priorities have been the same. I give them this. At least they're consistent. They are consistently interested in war. And so the Republican Party, Christians, for all of you who are talking about religious moral values, how do you not see or do you not care? Because there's nothing in this budget that is going to reduce abortions. Because that's the reason a lot of you are Christian, a lot of you are Republicans, is because you want to end abortions, but there's nothing in the budget that is going to reduce abortions. In fact, this budget is going to exasperate poverty. It's going to make poverty worse. And not only poverty worse, it's going to make it tougher for the middle class. And we know one of the leading causes for abortion is economic. People cannot afford children. And you think about it's just like welfare kids or teenagers who want to be promiscuous and they don't want to take care of the responsibilities. That's the image that they want to sell you. But if you look at the actual research by the Guttmacher Institute, you will see that the leading cause is financial. You see a lot of middle-aged married people who cannot afford a child that they did not intend to get pregnant with. And because of the financial commitment, they would love to have the baby, but they can't. Because financially, they are strained. Financially, they are stretched. And so if the Republican Party was really interested in your concerns, Christians, if they were really interested in your concerns, then they would do things to help reduce the need for abortions. But everything that they've done in this budget, and I'll post the image of the cuts and the increases. One increase. The increase is in defense spending. One increase. They want their defense contracting buddies and lobbyists to get rich at the expense of human life. Because nothing that the Republican Party actually does is conducive to advancing your religious priorities. Their priorities are not your priorities. Is that registering yet? Has that ever registered? Your priorities was to help bring an end to abortions. Their policies are going to increase abortions. They've never have had your best interest at heart. And so I want you to just understand that when you come talking to me or talking to somebody about the religious values and the Republican conservatives have family values and all this, come on. It's clear. It has to be clear to you by now. When you put your money, that's where your heart is. And the Republicans have put their money. They have demonstrated in this budget that their concern, their priority, and their heart is with war. Why do you think the only reason they've agreed, the only thing they have supported President Obama on was the authorization to use military force? That's it. Part of me doesn't know if you even care. You know, part of me thinks that you've been so completely enamored and fooled by this propaganda machine that is the Republican Party. Part of me thinks that it's a lost cause. But alas, my job is to always speak truth to power. And I'm going to tell you, look at their priorities and you see that you and your religious values and your family values got nothing wrong with it. I'm actually a religious person. I'm a family man. I'm a conservative socially. But I know for a fact that their priorities are not mine. It's in the budget. Where the money is, that's where their intentions and their priorities are. They're talking about mobilizing millions of evangelical Christians to vote with the Republican Party. And for what? What do you get out of it? You don't get anything that you went to the party for. If you are going to the Republican Party and you're a values voter and you're going specifically to bring an end to abortion and you're going specifically to oppose gay marriage, all right, that's what you're going for. Then why are you still there? I mean, Mike Huckabee even said it. Mike Huckabee said that he's considering, of course he's not going to because he's making too much money, but he's considering parting ways with the Republican Party because they're not serving their interests. He had an article about that. And he was talking about the issues that the Republican Party are not servicing them on. And I give him props. If I only went to the Democratic Party for racial reasons, for black issues, I would be gone too. I would have left because the Democratic Party has not done things significantly probably since Lyndon Johnson to forward the issues of African Americans. I mean, that's just the truth. But I am not a single issue voter. I don't go to the Democratic Party for those things. And as soon as the Democratic Party stops servicing the needs and my priorities, then I have to part ways with them. And that's just what it is. I will go find and cast my vote somewhere else. But this evangelical merger, this evangelical marriage, you guys who are, I mean, and it's not, to everyone who's listening, who may not be Republican, may not be evangelical, may not be conservative, I want you to understand that this is a large group of people. A large group of people, if they understood and cared about the truth, would have left the Republican Party a long time ago. And if they saw the reality that while they're voting for moral reasons, for values, the only thing that's actually becoming policy are economic tax breaks and economic stimuluses and handouts, corporate welfare. Those are the only things that are becoming policy. So it's problematic because there's a whole group of voters who by right, because of their economic situation, should be voting against the Republican Party, yet the Republican Party keeps them because they promise that they're the party of Christ. And if this entire block of people realized that they are locking themselves in a perpetual state of poverty because they believe that they're voting for value. So they're voting against their best interests because of values, and they're not getting anything on either end. They're still poor, Owsley, Kentucky, and they still don't have values. And so if that voting bloc understood this or cared, because maybe they understand and maybe they just don't care, but if they understood it and cared, then we could absolutely crush this right-wing, ultra-conservative, laissez-faire economic, trickle-down voodoo economic policies that have perverted the economic system of the United States since 1981, since Ronald Reagan. All right, I'm off my rant. We're going to take a break. When I come back, I'll be a little more mellowed out. But some stuff just gets on my nerves, and this is one of them. Open up your minds, people. Open up your hearts. This is the Benjamin Dixon Show.